Hey guys, Bird Yugioh here, coming at you with another deck profile. This time it's going to be another under $25 deck profile. And no, it's not Lair of Darkness. It is actually Chain Burn, of all things. One of the most hated decks. You're going to be normal summoning and hopefully, setting 5 or whatever. So a lot of people hate it because you're just going to be burning them for damage. And it doesn't really do much other than that, but it's a fun deck, fun little rogue, and obviously a budget deck as well. Start off with 3 Lilith. It's gonna basically search, I think, all of your traps. They're all normal traps, so you can search any trap that you play in the entire deck. Off of her effect, her quick effect, you just tribute 1 dark monster, reveal 3 normal traps, and your opponent randomly chooses 1. So you can reveal 3 of the same, 3 secret barrel or whatever you want to do. It's dark as well, that'll come up later. 3 Absolute King Backjack. This card, during your opponent's turn, you can banish this from your graveyard and excavate the top card of your deck. If it's a normal trap card, you set it. Otherwise, you just send it to the graveyard, so it's kind of like, a win-win situation when you use that effect. And also, if this card is sent to the graveyard, so you can sometimes, just set it, and if it manages to be sent to the graveyard, you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck and place them on the top in any order. It's really, really good. Again, it's dark. And then the last monsters we play, you don't want to play too many monsters in this, you want to do mostly traps, is 3 Battle Fader. This is just going to help you. If you happen to not have a monster on board, this will just help you survive another turn to hopefully get some draw cards or just some more burn cards. So that is it for the monsters. The spells, play 3 Pot of Duality. You're really not special summoning at all with this deck. So this is just getting you a free, usually trap, just good draw power. And then we play 3 Allure of Darkness. That's why we play stuff that's all dark. So it's just a way of getting to more cards. It's a cheaper way of building this deck without going with like Card of Demise or any other like Pot of Desires, anything like that. And then the 1 Chain Strike. Konami limited it, so we just play 1. That's all you're allowed to play. So that's it for the monsters and the spells. For the traps, which is pretty much the bulk of the deck, one of the best ones is going to be Just Desserts. This one just simply inflicts 500 damage to your opponent for each monster they control. Combos really well with Ojama Trio, because this is going to be getting 3 tokens to your opponent's side of the field. So really, really good card. 3 Secret Barrel. This is going to inflict damage equal to the total number of cards on your opponent's side of the field and in their hand times 200. So that could potentially, if your opponent's drawing a lot and getting a lot of cards on board, it'll do a lot of damage. Secret Blast is similar. This one is going to inflict 300 damage for each card your opponent controls. But also, if this card is destroyed by opponent's card, you can inflict 1,000 damage to them. So if your opponent destroys it with Twin Twisters, it's still gonna hurt them quite a bit. And then now for some of the draw power, because you do need a lot of draw power in this deck. 3 Balance of Judgment. If your opponent controls more cards than the combined number of cards in your hand and that you control, you just draw cards equal to the difference there, if they have more. Reckless Greed, you just draw 2 cards and skip your next 2 draw phases. So ideally you want to be activating multiple ones of these, just so you're not, you're drawing 4 off of that. You saw it before, but we play 3 Ojama Trio. This is special summoning 3 Ojama tokens to your opponent's field. They're level 2, so they're not very usable for the most part. And they cannot be tributed for a tribute summon, and each time one is destroyed, its controller takes 300 damage. So that's another one that just goes very well with this deck. I also really like 3 Ring of Destruction. You just target one face-up monster your opponent controls, and you take damage, and they take damage equal to its original attack. So that can do some massive damage if your opponent gets a big monster on board. And then we need some more battle traps. Threatening Roar is really good at just your opponent cannot declare an attack this turn. By the way, pretty much all of these are chainable. So if your opponent's trying to, Twin Twister you, for the most part, you can chain all of these and still be able to get, most of their effects off. Play just one Waboku. For the most part, you're going to be wanting to see Threatening Roar over this. It doesn't really matter too much. But it's another one. You just take no battle damage from your opponent's monsters, and your monsters cannot be destroyed by battle this turn. And then the last of the traps we play is Blazing Mirror Force. This is just when your opponent's monster declares an attack, you destroy as many attack position monsters, and you take damage equal to half their combined attack, and then of the destroyed monsters, and then you inflict the damage to your opponent as well. So that can, again, potentially do some massive damage. But yeah, that is it for this deck. We don't really play an extra deck. I mean, you can, and obviously you probably should, but, like Link Karibos and, not much else. They're just level 1 stuff, rank 1s. If you happen to get 2 of these on board, it doesn't happen very often, but it can. So yeah, that's the deck. Again, it's under 25, mostly because it doesn't even have an extra deck, doesn't really need one. The most expensive cards are going to be, almost half of this deck's price is in the Allure of Darkness and the Liliths, but they're so good without some of the other super expensive draw cards. So yeah, that's the deck, guys. Thanks for watching. We will catch you on the next one.